Hey, brothers and sisters, what's up? This is the Reluctant Nabi, and I'm going to make this statement really, really clear. Because I want y'all to hear, because I want y'all to understand. I type in caps when I make comments because I stand behind what I say. And upon further review, this is my opinion. I believe that Dr. Umar Johnson is an agent and a plant who's been destroying the Afro men community and relationships that we would have through indirect methods. And when we talk about those indirect methods, is that he continues to give power to the actual people that are causing the destruction by making sure that no one ever holds them accountable. Now, what I will demonstrate is how anything good that the Afro men have been about, he will be at odds with some, not all, but he will not ever hold the BW accountable for anything that they have done to the community or the men. As a matter of fact, even when they are in the mere presence of him as evidence of the same thing he's accusing the Afro men of, like dating outside of the race, he will not hold the woman accountable that's a product of that or that's doing that, while quoting the white men, Loving versus Virginia, that's done that. But then he will twist it around to make it the Afro man's fault. This is unforgivable. This is why I think Umar Johnson's half-truths to cover up BW mess is poison to the Afro man and his community. Period. Bar none. So we're about to break down one of his Breakfast Club interviews, and I'm going to show you what I mean. All right, but first, let me greet everybody. Habor Hardugu Dog, Ola Oi to the Bane, Buses, Los Bonjour, Mizami, Kedu Bauni Kunichiwa, Nihao Niama, Sani Bonani, Jumbo Harbayagani, Assalamu alaikum, and Shalom. What's up, everybody? All right, everybody. Let me remind you that my Cash App and my PayPal me will be in the description box, okay? If you like to donate to what we do, and let's put it this way, we get our hands dirty, get on the ground in the diaspora. If you'd like to help out with that, my Cash App and PayPal me will be in the description box, which is unlike the fella we talking about right now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and when you subscribe, click the notification bell. All right, so let's start breaking this down. All right, first of all, I want y'all to understand something. The more I listen to this man talk, the more I understand that this man is not a simp. No, I think he's an agent and a plant whose only design is to destroy the Afro man by keeping him held accountable for things that he's not responsible for. In other words, he is to make sure that the Afro man is to never know the truth, that it is the BW that is selling you out, along with men like him who are making money off of them selling you out. Okay? And he is responsible for the destruction of the Afro community or keeping it destroyed by using indirect means. Subtlety. Now, understand this. This grown man is going to try to tell another grown man how he should raise his child. Pay attention to this.
My people are already given.
I kind of disagree with that.
If you disagree,
because
then you're going to have to explain away the Dow study. Explain away the Dow study. We can go and get 25 black girls and 25 white girls from the schools right here in New York City and give them the black dolls, the same Kenneth Clark doll experiment that was done 60 years ago for the Brown versus Board decision, and say which one is ugly, which one is attractive, and which one would you rather be?
But don't think that's conditional.
Now, let me answer that. I've seen the study along with others, and this is how it worked. And I talked about this before. The black girls said that the black dolls look ugly, and the white ones look good. Why? Because that's what they mamas taught them. See, they don't go into the why. The first time that an Afro boy or a girl was told they were ugly was from their mama. Their mama, the single mother, by the way, is the one that had been teaching this, that has been downplaying our image. They always want to say that, oh, the black woman is the first teacher, but they don't ever want to talk about what she's been teaching her children in the absence of the man. It's the man that usually uplifts the daughter and the sons. All right? Now, let me tell you, this dude tried to use that study to try to control who the other father would let his son speak to. Now, the father is married, has more than what we could say about this dude that's trying to call out a married man and what he teaches his son. Pay attention.
Listening to, you're not going to instill that in your kids. You're going to teach your kids.
You don't have to. The society will do it.
So you think society can brainwash your kids better than you?
Are you kidding me? We are living in the era of social network. This is the millennial generation.
I think in certain experiences, in certain instances,
yes.
You, I don't think so, because we're too much in our kids' life. So you're telling me, right? If my son, my black son,
yes,
brings home a white girl, because
how old is he?
Not for nothing, he's 13.
Yes.
Not for nothing, we live in an area that is predominantly white.
Okay.
Pay attention.
Better school system, better education.
I got you.
A lot safer. So if he brings home a white girl, I should be like, son,
we need to have a conversation.
You shouldn't date her. You should date a black person.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I don't agree with that.
And let me tell you why.
But let me like mayonnaise now. But when he go to the HBCU, it's soul food.
But experience what he likes.
But envy.
Be the person that says,
no, you have to be the person, because you have to teach your.
Understand how effed up what Omar Johnson is saying. It is clear to him and clear to his son that the BW don't like men like his son educated. And this man is saying you need to force your son to get involved with a female that don't like you. Ooh, it's worse than that though. All right. There sits with these two fellas is a woman whose father is Chinese. And kind of how this got started is they were talking about how he went to China and saw how much racism is just plain old out in the open. They'll tell you, you can't go here because you're black. The Chinese will tell you that in China. And then they take that racist attitude to Africa and tell Africans, you got to get out. You can't go into this restaurant because of your color in your own damn country. Right? And so the woman says, yeah, I have a Chinese father married to a black woman. So he had no problem with the black woman married to a Chinese man. Oh, because he worships the coochie of the black woman. The black woman he has deified. So she could do whatever the hell she want to do. Not understanding that that woman belongs to a Chinese man. She's Chinese. She's not black. She's not who her mama is. She's who her daddy is. Now, I want you to understand this. He said nothing to that girl about her upbringing. All right. And the girl even mentioned that her grandparents did not like the relationship, still don't. But her younger siblings that's born in the United States, they're okay with it. All right. So understand this. Understand this. But he's saying that the woman who now has become property of the man that she get with, she can do whatever she wants to do and bring all kind of danger into the community by way of who she chooses as her master, her ruler, her head. But the Afro man He said, you need to teach your son to think like me. Oh, you need to go F yourself. That's the way I see it. That's just the way I see it.
Son, loyalty to his community. European Jews do it. Arabs do it. Chinese do it. We're the only people who feel anxious and ambivalent about telling our black boys that you better love and marry a black woman. My people are already
all right, now understand this. He's only concerned about you telling your black boys that you better love and marry a black woman. But he don't teach a damn thing to black women as to how they're to teach their daughters to love and marry a good Afro man. This man don't hold a female accountable for anything, but he does much worse than this. He's a traitor, and this is what makes him a traitor, is that he holds the Afro man accountable for the woman's decision who did not pick the Afro man to begin with. He's a traitor that keeps the mess stirred up because he makes sure that the people that are doing the most damage and the poison are never held accountable by coming in when men start to round out and get strong and decide to fix the community. He comes in like he did with Kwame. He comes in to stir up mess to make sure that the men are not on one accord when it comes to judging the BW. That's how that goes. Alright, this is why I am convinced that this man is a puppet sent whose strings are pulled. Alright, and they send them in every time the Afro men start seeing the mess and we come together. And we're talking about the strong ones. They don't send them in, alright, until the Afro men start grafting in the simps and the thugs. When the thugs start seeing the BW for who they are, then that's basically it. Now, pay attention. He come up with all the numbers, but he misrepresents them, the numbers and what they mean.
You can't even glance at a white woman.
Now, since we're on the topic of family, there's a rumor that has to be dispelled. I'm hearing black people going around saying that slavery destroyed the black family. Nothing could be further from the truth. Slavery didn't destroy the black family. Do you know that we were still getting married through slavery? Jumping the broom, in secret, even under punishment of death. We were married during Reconstruction. We were married during civil rights. When do you begin to see the rise of the single-parented black?
Now pay attention. He's right in all of that. I point this out. Right? But watch how he twists it and make sure you don't hold the person responsible that made the decision for the condition of the community that we are in today.
Black female household, 1970. After they killed Dr.
Now I mentioned 1970. Very significant.
King, the United States government said we must neutralize the black power base. And they determined that the black power base was the black family. It was.
And more than that, not only was it, so he's going to try to dodge all around the issue. The black power base, as you spoke it, was the strong Afro men. It was the men that came up with SAFE. It was the men that came up with WIC. It was the men that came up with Head Start. The vision came from men that wanted to improve the community. The vision came up from men who went to UC Berkeley. They were known as the Black Panthers. Pay attention.
Independent black skilled men and women who financed King, financed Mr.
Hold it. Now you notice how he says, tell your sons, only the males, but when he tells you about the skilled people, he said skilled men and women. But at that time, the men were still running the homes. When we talk about the skilled men, we were talking about the men, not the women. The men used to come home, give their paycheck to the women so that the women can do the domestic stuff. The domestic stuff was taking care of the finances and stuff because he was out there fighting with the Caucasian man. So that he didn't, and now it's turned into a battle on two fronts. The man goes out fighting more than two fronts because the man don't have a friend waiting for him at home either. He is better off not to get married to the BW and be alone, or find a woman in another country that values manhood. I want y'all to pay attention to this BS.
Garvey, finance Mr. Muhammad, finance SNCC and CORE, the Freedom Riders in the sit-in movement. So they said, if we want to crush the black struggle, we got to crush the black family. So guess what?
All right, he's right on that. If you're going to crush the black struggle, crush the black family, but not the black family, because it was men that organized all these things.
What they did in 1970, King dies in 68. In 1970, they came into the black communities and deindustrialized our city centers. In 1970, they started shutting down the factories. Remember, up until the 50s and 60s, you didn't need a college degree to get a decent job. Many of us got grandparents who worked in factories their whole life and lived better lives than we're living now with 2 and 3 degrees. They could work in their same neighborhood, and everybody worked for the factory. Good retirement, pension, benefits, medical. They started shutting down the factories in 1970, and then they went into the high schools and did what? Started deindustrializing the inner city high schools. Up until 1970, you could graduate from almost any school in New York certified as a plumber, certified as an electrician, certified as a carpenter, auto body, brick mason, a welder. They took all those programs out. These are the skills that pays the bills, gentlemen. As long as you have a skill, you can always feed your family. But if all you got is college degrees, you might end up in an unemployment line. Why? Because the skills that we learn in college are not necessarily marketable to other black people. I'm a psychologist. Ain't too many black people running around looking for a psychologist to reveal all the skeletons in their closet.
Yeah, you rather talk to a white person.
Now, let me add to this. He said he's a psychologist. He said they got rid of the skilled workers. The other thing that they did was they gave the female education in a piece of paper that don't mean a damn thing, especially over a skill, except in an industry where you use the piece of paper as racism to decide who you're going to hire. We've already seen what the IQ tests have shown, and we've seen how that's shown that that piece of paper don't mean squat. All right, now understand this. As he broke that all down, what he failed to tell you is the deal that they made. They made it with the black female. They told the black female, you kick the man out of the house. He didn't want to mention that because that would hold them accountable. If you get rid of the man, you only have children from thugs. All right, we played the thing where the little girl said, I just have these kids because, you know, welfare will take care of them. So I'll just go get the guy that looks attractive, look like the guys they put on TV, usually as bad guys. Okay, and then that's who I'll sleep with. And then while I am sleeping with them and we have a child, then we don't have to worry about it because I get food stamps and subpar housing. That's what these girls said. They said it to your face. I have the video if you still need to see it again. No, go and see the video we have up. All right? These mamas taught their little daughters so that they can compete with the daughters for the younger men that you're ugly. The mamas taught this to the daughters and the son. Us men can tell you that the first time we heard you're ugly came from a black woman. All right? We ain't BSing. We know what it is. All right? And so, to not hold them accountable, that's the problem. But if you never hold them accountable, then you keep allowing them to be rewarded for all the damage that they're doing. When you're trying to force men to date them still, then they still have hope that suckers will be there to pick up the slack when they get run through, have a bunch of these children, they'll get to rob you of your money into perpetuity, because clowns like this will try to convince you that you need, like Boyce Watkins, to give your money and stuff to these women. Okay? Now, it was Frances Cress Welsing that came up during the ISIS paper, as I said, that this is about white survival. She did that. She's a psychiatrist. That means a medical doctor. Understand this. And she understood this. He read her papers, kept out half the information, kept half the information away from people. And so now people don't know what the whole truth is because he only talks in half truths. Any truth to make the men responsible for things that the black woman is culpable for. All these studies he's mentioning, he don't mention they did them on little girls because the Afro male don't have the image problem. And these girls got that image problem from their damn mama. The same place where the Afro boys got it before they became into men. The only difference is when we come into men, because our prowess is based on our minds and our physicality, we can overcome them hurdles easy. Females can overcome them if they just act feminine, because then the Afro man will teach. All right? The thing we can't stand is the feminist. So we're not dealing with them anymore. So they need him to come and convince us with Boyce Watkins that we need to poison the well and have women that's going to just talk trash on our children behind our backs, like they already do, for the most part. And I'm talking about the vast majority. We're not talking about the onesies and twosies that don't. The 10s and 20% that don't, because it's the 80% of the BW that's doing the damage. See, they don't want to delve into that issue. Here's the other problem. I wanted to contrast with him with Sherzad Ali, but what we do is other YouTubers and brothers that get commentary from these guys, all right, they put them up in such a way that you can't share that other brothers that have platforms cannot share with what our elders are espousing, because one dude want to be exclusive. The dude that was doing Joe Brown, he was doing Dick Gregory. And you couldn't spread what they were saying around a lot unless you went and watched this channel. But more people get the message out. I keep telling y'all, there's a lot of stuff that I've said that's everywhere now, but that's because I don't say the only place I want people to hear it is here. My stuff is meant to be shared because I'm talking about repairing the relationship between the Afro man and his children. And I don't deal with the BW because I already understand they don't give a damn. I understand that. You don't have to beat me over the head a bunch of times. I understand it right now. So I don't deal with them like that. Till they become females and feminine and request help with a heart of contrition and repentance, then we should help them. But no time should we deal with them before that. Deal with women of other nations in other countries, or deal with women that are Afro in other countries. But we need to deal with women in other countries. See, a lot of stuff they're trying to keep hidden from you. All right, and that's what's effed up. And these dudes on these YouTube channels and stuff that won't let anybody share information coming from elder like Sister Sherzad Ali, they are just as bad as the government keeping information from us. If you look at PragerU, you can share their videos. A lot of people know who Candace Owens is because of PragerU and people sharing her videos amongst a bunch of people. And yet we have our elders get up and we can't share, we can't copy and say, this is what Shirazad Ali said. It should be able to be shared like the news. But no. Because unlike me, most of these dudes ain't doing this to build the community. And that's BS if they say anything different. If they got this stuff so hemmed up and blocked off that you can't know what, you can't share the information, then they're not doing this. They're like Dr. Umar Johnson. They're doing this for the money. Only it's the YouTube money. Period. I'm tired of this mess. The wall awaits these women because only when they become old and decrepit, they want us to deal with these women. And I say no. They had all these things for just Afro women, just black women. Black women only, this, that, and the other, since the 70s. All right, that's some BS. I'm tired of these wicked dudes like the Umar Johnsons and the Boyce Watkins coming around and telling us what we need to do. They need to shut the F up. All right? We need to get rid of these religions, these hotep crap, and all the rest of this mess that's been nothing to us but damaging. And then what we need to do is get rid of the bad tent poles and replace them with another. These dudes like Umar Johnson have no control over what we do as Afro men. And now they're rearing their heads. We should come against them too. Shut them down. Tell the Caucasians we don't need their little puppets over here to tell us what we should and shouldn't do. All right? You love the BW so much, you keep having them children by them, unmarried. Not even wanting to be married. But that's your God. All right? You keep doing that. As for us, no, we tired. We sick and tired. All right? So, with that said, I'm out. And this is a no deep policing zone.